Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The statement, oral or written, of an exchange of promises. They had an agreement that they would not interfere in each other's business. Compatibility of observations. There was no agreement between theory and measurement. The thing arranged or agreed to. Harmony of people's opinions or actions or characters. The two parties were in agreement. The determination of grammatical inflection on the basis of word relations. The verbal act of agreeing. The statement, oral or written, of an exchange of promises. There was an understanding between management and the workers. The capacity for rational thought or inference or discrimination. An inclination to support or be loyal to or to agree with an opinion. I knew I could count on his understanding. The cognitive condition of someone who understands. He has virtually no understanding of social cause and effect. Characterized by understanding based on comprehension and discernment and empathy. An understanding friend. Mathematics. An attribute of a shape or relation. Exact reflection of form on opposite sides of a dividing line or plane. Compatibility of observations. The results of two tests were in correspondence. Similarity by virtue of corresponding. The relation of corresponding in degree or size or amount. Communication by the exchange of letters. The act of arranging and adapting a piece of music. The spatial property of the way in which something is placed. The arrangement of the furniture. The thing arranged or agreed to. They made arrangements to meet in Chicago. A piece of music that has been adapted for performance by a particular set of voices or instruments. An organized structure for arranging or classifying. He changed the arrangement of the topics. An orderly grouping, of things or persons, considered as a unit, the result of arranging. A flower arrangement. Go together. Harmony of people's opinions or actions or characters. Allow to have. Concurrence of opinion. We are in accord with your proposal. A written agreement between two states or sovereigns. Sympathetic compatibility. The First Battle of the American Revolution, April 19, 1775. Go together. Their ideas concorded. Agreement of opinions. A harmonious state of things in general and of their properties, as of colors and sounds, congruity of parts with one another and with the whole. Capital of the state of New Hampshire, located in south-central New Hampshire on the Merrimack River. The determination of grammatical inflection on the basis of word relations. Be in accord, be in agreement. Both philosophers concord on this point. Arrange by concord or agreement. Arrange the words of a text so as to create a concordance. The team concorded several thousand nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Town in eastern Massachusetts near Boston where the first battle of the American Revolution was fought. Computer science. A line of code written as part of a computer program. A fact or assertion offered as evidence that something is true. A document showing credits and debits. The act of affirming or asserting or stating something. A message that is stated or declared. A communication, oral or written, setting forth particulars or facts, etc. According to his statement, he was in London on that day. A nonverbal message. A Cadillac makes a statement about who you are. Music, the presentation of a musical theme. The initial statement of the sonata. A feeling of sympathetic understanding. Capability of existing or performing in harmonious or congenial combination. Supply with provisions. A stipulated condition. He accepted subject to one provision. The cognitive process of thinking about what you will do in the event of something happening. The activity of supplying or providing something. A store or supply of something, especially of food or clothing or arms. The cognitive process of thinking about what you will do in the event of something happening. His planning for retirement was hindered by several uncertainties. An act of formulating a program for a definite course of action. The planning was more fun than the trip itself. The act or process of drawing up plans or layouts for some project or enterprise. The cognitive process of thinking about what you will do in the event of something happening. The act of preparing something, as food, by the application of heat. He left the preparation of meals to his wife. A substance prepared according to a formula. The physician prescribed a commercial preparation of the medicine. Activity leading to skilled behavior. The activity of putting or setting in order in advance of some act or purpose. Preparations for the ceremony had begun. The state of having been made ready or prepared for use or action, especially military action. Their preparation was more than adequate. Preparatory school work done outside school, especially at home. Music. A note that produces a dissonant chord as first heard in a consonant chord. The resolution of one dissonance is often the preparation for another dissonance. Agreement of opinions. A harmonious state of things in general and of their properties, as of colors and sounds, congruity of parts with one another and with the whole. The structure of music with respect to the composition and progression of chords. Compatibility in opinion and action. An agreeable sound property. Agreement of opinions. A harmonious state of things in general and of their properties, as of colors and sounds, congruity of parts with one another and with the whole. An index of all main words in a book along with their immediate contexts. The linguistic relation established by grammar. The use of language to perform some act. An agreement, or contract, in which property is transferred from the seller, vendor, to the buyer, vendee, for a fixed price in money, paid or agreed to be paid by the buyer. The salesman faxed the sales agreement to his home office. An agreement between parties, usually arrived at after discussion, fixing obligations of each. He made a bargain with the devil. Negotiate the terms of an exchange. We bargained for a beautiful rug in the bazaar. An advantageous purchase. She got a bargain at the auction. Come to terms. Arrive at an agreement. A secret agreement between two or more people to perform an unlawful act. A group of conspirators banded together to achieve some harmful or illegal purpose. The Southern states that seceded from the United States in 1861. A union of political organizations. A secret agreement between two or more people to perform an unlawful act. A group of conspirators banded together to achieve some harmful or illegal purpose. A plot to carry out some harmful or illegal act, especially a political plot. A signed written agreement between two or more parties, nations, to perform some action. Bible. An agreement between God and his people in which God makes certain promises and requires certain behavior from them in return. Enter into a covenant. Enter into a covenant or formal agreement. They covenanted with Judas for 30 pieces of silver. An agreement between parties, usually arrived at after discussion, fixing obligations of each. He rose to prominence through a series of shady deals. Wood that is easy to saw, from conifers such as pine or fir. Take into consideration for exemplifying purposes. Succeed in doing, achieving, or producing, something, with the limited or inadequate means available. Often followed by, of, a large number or amount or extent. A deal of trouble. Direct the course of, manage or control. A particular instance of buying or selling. It was a package deal. Give out as one's portion or share. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. This book deals with incest. Do business. Offer for sale as for one's livelihood. She deals in gold. Administer or bestow, as in small portions. Deal a blow to someone. The cards held in a card game by a given player at any given time. Be in charge of, act on, or dispose of. I can deal with this crew of workers. A plank of softwood, fir or pine board. Behave in a certain way towards others. He deals fairly with his employees. Distribute cards to the players in a game. Who's dealing? Give, a specific card, to a player. He dealt me the queen of spades. Sell. Deal hashish. Take action with respect to, someone or something. How are we going to deal with this problem? The act of apportioning or distributing something. The captain was entrusted with the deal of provisions. The act of distributing playing cards. The deal was passed around the table clockwise. The type of treatment received, especially as the result of an agreement. He got a good deal on his car. A friendly understanding between political powers. An informal alliance between countries. A friendly understanding between political powers. An informal alliance between countries. An agreement, illegal in the United States, between the manufacturer of a trademarked item of merchandise and its retail distributors to sell the item at a price at or above the price set by the manufacturer. A personal agreement based on honor and not legally binding. An agreement that is not in writing and is not signed by the parties but is a real existing contract that lacks only the formal requirement of a memorandum to render it enforceable in litigation. An unstated doubt that prevents you from accepting something wholeheartedly. A statement that limits or restricts some claim. He recommended her without any reservations. A district that is reserved for particular purpose. The act of reserving a place or passage, or engaging the services of a person or group. Something reserved in advance, as a hotel accommodation or a seat on a plane, etc. The act of keeping back or setting aside for some future occasion. The written record or promise of an arrangement by which accommodations are secured in advance. An agreement, or contract, in which property is transferred from the seller, vendor, to the buyer, vendee, for a fixed price in money, paid or agreed to be paid by the buyer. The salesman faxed the sales agreement to his home office. An occasion, usually brief, for buying at specially reduced prices. They held a sale to reduce their inventory. A particular instance of selling. He has just made his first sale. The general activity of selling. They tried to boost sales. The state of being purchasable, offered or exhibited for selling. You'll find vitamin C for sale at most pharmacies. The act of colonizing, the establishment of colonies. A community of people smaller than a town. Termination of a business operation by using its assets to discharge its liabilities. A body of people who settle far from home but maintain ties with their homeland. Inhabitants remain nationals of their home state but are not literally under the home state's system of government. Something settled or resolved, the outcome of decision-making. They finally reached a settlement with the Union. A conclusive resolution of a matter and disposition of it. An area where a group of families live together. An agreement on the terms on which an employee will leave. Something, manuscripts or architectural plans and models or estimates or works of art of all genres, etc. Submitted for the judgment of others, as in a competition. Several of his submissions were rejected by publishers. The feeling of patient, submissive humbleness. The act of submitting, usually surrendering power to another. A legal document summarizing an agreement between parties in a dispute to abide by the decision of an arbiter. An agreement between parties in a dispute to abide by the decision of an arbiter. Law. A contention presented by a lawyer to a judge or jury as part of the case he is arguing. The condition of having submitted to control by someone or something else. The Union was brought into submission.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.